Hello, welcome to the G.I. Joe New News Classified Reviews. My name is David T. Allen, or if you would like, Super Dave 817. If you would like to see more of this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button for future videos. Thank you and enjoy. Hello, welcome to another episode of the G.I. Joe New News Classified Review. I am David Allen, or if you like, Super Dave. Thank you for joining me, everybody in the chat. The first one out of the gate is Sean Jones. Good day, Super Dave. Thank you very much. I appreciate you joining me tonight. We have a absolute huge video to do tonight, and that is going to be 171, and that is Crankcase with the A.W.E Striker, which is an absolutely huge vehicle, and it takes like my entire screen up just to showcase that it's so big. So we have some news to cover after we open this big vehicle up, and we got some little things I want to talk about as well. So we got a lot to do in this video for a Monday night video. So let's get into it. I want to showcase a little bit of interesting stuff that has to do with the A.W.E Striker. This is my vintage A.W.E Striker there. One of my original vintage A.W.E Strikers. I had a lot of these A.W.E Strikers when I was young because they were one of these toys that you could really play rough with, and you could throw them down the hill and do all kinds of stuff with. I went through so many A.W.E Strikers when I was a kid. It's unbelievable. Probably a dozen or so. So there's some parts missing, like the gun on the top is missing and things like that, but it's in pretty good shape, particularly this one. And then I also wanted to showcase my Flame Toys A.W.E Striker, which is the Arashikage Flame Toys A.W.E Striker, which I'm going to showcase with this as well in comparison to the A.W.E Striker. So I'm going to show them all in their size comparisons to showcase how big this is when we get it all put together. Hello, Frank DeMeo. Thanks for joining us. Oh, yeah. I appreciate it. Thanks. So first off, we have to go into the history of the A.W.E Striker and Crankcase. This is, like I said a minute ago, 171, and we've now gone from 00 Snake Eyes all the way up to 171 in the classified line, and we've done 33 vintage retro package figures, and we've done 6 legacy and 60th anniversary figures. So we're moving along with these. Hello, Paul Morales, and he's saying hello to everybody in the chat. Let's see. Also, we have some new, I want to make sure that I don't forget that we have some new classified figures that I want to talk about later after this is over. Okay. So first off, let's get into Crankcase and the A.W.E Striker. First off, we're going to go to Creating G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero by Dan Klingensmith Jr. This is volume 13. Hello, Bobby World. Thanks for joining us today. And he's saying hello to Paul Morales. Everybody's saying hello to everybody. So let's see. So Crankcase and the A.W.E Striker. A lot of design schematics and turnarounds for the A.W.E Striker and some of the engineering parts of it there, and some artwork for him on the side. It says the design was done by George Woodbridge. The alternate names: Fast Lane Roll Bar. Then it says year released 1985, designed by Ron Rudat. Wow, Crankcase is one of the few vehicle drivers that Ron Rudat was able to design. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. So the presentation artwork, this is done by George Woodbridge right here. There, George Woodbridge. We got Gunpowder Nitro. What's good, all? Hey, not much. Just going over some GI Joes. Thanks for joining us tonight. So this is our tag team Monday nights. It's first me, and then it's going to be Punk with Toys afterwards at 9 o'clock. So make sure when you're finished with my show, you go over there and check him out. Thank you. So then we have the A.W.E Striker, and it says alternate names NA, year release 1985, designed by Wayne Luther. So Wayne Luther is one of the design team. He did a lot of vehicles back in the day, and you know that he had a particular hand in the Sky Striker when they made that figure for the HasLab, the Wayne Luther figure as well. It says for Crankcase, when discussing Crankcase, Ron shared that he gave him a harness that was worn in the Vietnam War and a Civil War officer's belt plate. Ron stated that the pistol holster looked as though it was World War II and that he was carrying a Colt M1911. And it says after introducing the Chenoweth dune buggy to the military in the early 1980s, Wayne thought the Joes needed something similar to scout out Cobra bases and gather intel with mounted cameras and large antennas. The unit riding in the A.W.E Striker could communicate with either ground troops or GI Joe command on how Cobra troops were maneuvering. So there you go. The A.W.E, the A.W.E Striker. See up there? Let's see. It says Carlos Salina says Rollbar was eventually introduced as a new character during the Rise of Cobra toy line. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Rollbar. I'm pretty sure I know who that is. Was he one of the Battle Force 2000 guys? Rollbar? I'm not 100%. So this is one of my favorite toys when I was growing up. I had a lot of these. They were only like $8 or $9 or something like that. Maybe $6 to $9 to buy one of these, so they weren't that expensive. But Crankcase was always a really cool figure, and I really enjoyed him as a character as well. And he definitely looks like he's more of a British soldier there, doesn't he? Kind of like a British trooper. But there you go. And then we have the photography artwork for the A.W.E Striker and Crankcase there from Collecting the Art of G.I. Joe, Volume 2, 1984 to 1985 by R. Carson Metaxas, Volume 2. And then there's the A.W.E Striker with its package design with Crankcase there. Looks pretty cool. Like I said, it was a fun vehicle. And then apparently Crankcase and the A.W.E Striker made their first appearance in G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero 92. They were on their way to, I think, Sierra Gordo or something like that in this storyline. And this is Real American Hero G.I. Joe comic series by Larry Hama from the 80s. And then the A.W.E Striker toy, I believe, made its first appearance in the Weather Domino, which is the second Sunbow animated miniseries. I don't know if Crankcase was in that or not, because I don't recall there ever being any animation of Crankcase. I could be mistaken. If I am, you guys can correct me in the chat if Crankcase ever appeared in animation. But I know the A.W.E Striker appeared in the second miniseries, The Mass Device. Let's see. Let's see. The character Failsafe, aka Wayne Luther, was a play on Wayne Luther's name. That's correct, and that's where they got the character from the Sky Striker HasLab, and I believe this is him, Failsafe. There. Radar Interceptor, Failsafe. Yep, and I believe it is Wayne Luther. Yep, you're right. You were right. I lost one of my figures. I'll pick him up later. Let's see. So then 610 Yojo Daddy. What's up, Super Dave? Wish I had been in awe of this vehicle. Love Crankcase. The vehicle let me down. Gonna have to get gridiron parts to fix the way it looks. Just my opinion. Hey, that's a perfectly valid opinion. Everybody's gonna have their own play pattern, their own opinions, and do whatever works for them. Then everybody's saying hello to everybody in the chat again. See. Yep. Uh, so, yeah, so I don't think Crankcase was ever in the cartoon to my knowledge. Like I said, I could be wrong. If I am, one of you guys correct me in the chat. Let me know if Crankcase actually appeared in the comic, in the cartoon. I know the Striker did, but I don't know if Crankcase did because I don't recall his personality if he did. Maybe he was in the background of a scene or something like that, or maybe he was in the credits or something like that. I don't know, but I just don't have any recollection of Crankcase in any of the animation. But that's just me. All right, so now we're going to get into this. So the artwork on here is a big piece of artwork of Crankcase there, which looks really, really nice, detailed. And then we have the designations, QR code, and the target artwork there. And we're going to put this over here, and we're going to pull out the designations, and we're going to see what they are for Crankcase. Let's see. He has the steering wheel, so that one is probably most likely pilot or something like that. Yep, that's driver. Then he has the, I believe, light ammo or something like that. I think it's light weapons. Yep. And then he has the desert. It's the desert combat environment. And then he has the anti-armor on his designations for the Striker. And there you go. So then we're going to go to the back. And we're going to showcase that beautiful, like kind of, what do you call it? Not designations. The layout of the Striker with Crankcase there, and then some call outs over there on the left of him there on the edge. There's some call outs to the Striker on there, and it says on here, G.I. Joe, Crankcase, and Striker, all weather and environmental striker. So all weather and environmental striker. And this is the kind of render, I guess you would call it, with these designations here, which I like this little map designation. There's lots of tampos and stickers on there. And then we go around to the other side and we get the photography artwork by Shooting the Galaxy, Matt and Mike. And there's some different versions of the Striker here in the background, some with the cage, the roll cage on it, some without, some with the gun just on it, different versions. And then another picture of the bridge layer over here on the right. Actually, that's the left in the background. And I don't see anything else. I see a lot of desert back there, but it looks really cool. So we'll get into that in just a moment. Got my phone in one hand and stuffing tacos with the other. Well, there you go. Multitasking. Nothing wrong with that. I love tacos. I love me some tacos too. So that is Crankcase. So now we're going to get this puppy opened up. It's going to be a big one. Let's see. We're going to get everything out of the box. Oh, boy. And then, we got a weapons crate, which I like. I like weapons crates. Put that box over there. We got a weapons crate, and the weapons crate has a hole in the roof. I think that's the first time we've ever seen a weapons crate with a hole in the roof. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Do you guys ever remember a weapons crate that had a hole in it? It says Crankcase and all weather and environmental striker on the front. It has that 171 and the stars and stripes, and then 171 with the hole in the roof. So we'll put that back here temporarily, and then we will get everything out of here first. So we got a bunch of stickers and blueprints. So we'll put that over there. Let's see. We're going to take Crankcase out. There he is with his loadout and all of his accessories. Fun stuff. Put him down here. And then we'll take out all the equipment. And then we'll put this back in the box. Let's see. We got the part of the roll cage here. There. Part of the roll cage. So we'll put that over there. Out of the way. Let's see. Got this piece of the cardboard. We'll put that down there. Then we have another piece of the cardboard here. There. So then we'll have the fuselage. Well, I guess we're going to have to cut this off to get this out. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to have to cut that out. There. See if we can get this out. Not too much fuss. All right, so now we have the fuselage, and it is absolutely huge. Look at the size of this thing. It is huge, way bigger than I thought it was. I like the way it looks. I'm pretty sure it's based on a real vehicle. There was a gun tuber called FPS Russia that did a video with a real one. Yeah, it is. It is based on a real one. I mentioned it in the section that I was talking about how they created this, how Wayne Luther created it based on the real military one that came out in the early 80s. So they did get that designed from that gunpowder. So then there's a couple of boxes. We got one box here with one of these little bags. G.I. Joe and Cobra bags. Put that over there. And then we have another bag in another box over here. Actually, that was the seat. That was the seat for it. So we'll put that over here for now. Put that back. And then we have the other part of the roll bar. We're going to try to get that. The other part of the roll bar there. So we'll put that over here. There. So I think that's everything out of the box. So I can put the box back in the other box. So we'll put that back in there. 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 So I got that all back in there. Close that up. All right. So put the seat over here. This bag over here. put this guy here. All right. So next, we're going to go into Crankcase first. We're going to get Crankcase out of his package. Let's see. Word of advice: put Crankcase in the driver's seat before you put the roll cage on. All right, definitely. We'll definitely do that. Thank you very much, Carlos Salinas. And then Machine Man, hello. Are you a new person in the chat? Thank you for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. Are the front wheels that small on the real life one? I'm not entirely sure if they are or they aren't. I guess if you watch that video that they mentioned earlier here, the live video with a real one, maybe you could see on that, but I don't know. You're a new person. Thank you for joining us in the chat tonight. I appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button. Really appreciate it. It helps the algorithm and helps us grow this channel. We're on our way to the 250 subs mark. We're trying to get up to 1,000. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. So there's Crankcase. One of the things I wanted to show was the vintage Crankcase, and I didn't really show him. So now I have him here, and I can show him next to his classified version. So this is the vintage one. He's a bit loose, so I may have to fix his O-ring. And then he's got his helmet there. And then he has his rifle. So this is the vintage Crankcase. I showed you the vintage A.W.E striker. And now this is the vintage Crankcase. So there you go. There's your vintage version. And then this is your classified version. Pretty close, I would say. Pretty close. The colors on him are a little darker than the colors on him. The green is a little darker, and the taupe on his pants are a little bit darker. And they added a lot more brown from the vintage one to this one, the classified one, and they gave him that secondary, a lot more secondaries on the classified version. And they did pretty much copy a lot of the elements. Like he has the knife on the his ankle, that's new. He does have the holster on his right leg. That's the same. He's got the whole the straps on his secondary. That's the same. He's got the gold buckle, belt buckle on his belt. That's the same. He has the little red tabs on his top there. That's the same as well. So most of the stuff on him, other than his secondary being a little bit bulkier, are all the same. He's got a couple little elements that are different, but most of it's the same. He's got the watch. That's the same on both his wrists. That's all the same. So it's very, very similar in most respects to the vintage one. So they did a pretty good job keeping it in comparison. They did change some of the green, like the sweater was something that he had all the ways down his arms, and they changed that to a lighter khaki shirt instead underneath with the collar that he has there. it's slightly different. So there are a couple of new elements to this. The knife, the secondary being a lot more larger, and the shirt being a little bit changed. But other than that, it's pretty similar. He definitely has a darker hairstyle as well. He has red hair, but it's definitely a darker red. And he's got a really nice face print. I must say, I like it a lot. Very similar to his vintage one, but a little bit thinner in the face. Um, So it looks pretty good. I had this figure, like, I had so many of these figures when I was younger because of the fact that I had so many Oz Strikers. They all came with Crankcase, which is fine. But I just had a lot of him. He has a little bitty tampo there of the stars and stripes on his left shoulder. Um, like I said, he has both of those little red rank insignias there. You can see the secondary goes all the ways around. It's like a bulletproof vest almost. There's lots of pouches and little places to put stuff. And he's got a little radio up here on the right corner of his secondary. Um, and then there's a little bitty tampo in the watch there. You can see on the vintage one, it's not on it, but on this one, it definitely has it. And I like the gloves. The gloves are more like a off-road type glove that gives it a little bit more tactile type handling of this type of equipment in the environment that it's supposed to be in, like a desert environment. Um, he has like you can see the blue eyes and a little bit of the rouge around his cheeks, which I really enjoy the fact that they gave him that to make it look more 3D. He has that really nice bushy handlebar mustache as well. It's a very nice figure, I've got to say. Very nice. I like the gold buckle that he's got on there. That's like the vintage one. So I'm going to put him over there. I'm going to get into some of his accessories. The original Crankcase had a cool machine gun. The classified version didn't get it. Yeah, I just was going to mention that. With his accessories, he has a revolver, which he has that holster on his right leg that you can put this revolver in. But he does not have that machine gun. You would think they could have gave him the machine gun similar to what they did with the Vamp and had a place that they could store it in the Vamp in the Oz Striker, but they didn't do that. So that's an interesting change, another change for this figure as well. And then the little thing that opens up and the strap that opens up, you can put the revolver in that holster and then strap it back down. The one thing I don't like about a lot of these secondaries is they don't stay up. Like they're supposed to stay on the leg up and stuff. Sometimes they slip off. So there's the revolver there, and then he has a knife, a little bitty dagger, and we're gonna put that in that little secondary holster sheath on his ankle. That's a new sheath that's not on the vintage one. This is on the classified one only. So I put that in there, and like I said, it like kind of slips down a little bit, so you have to be careful about that. So there you go with that. Then he has his familiar helmet that he had that's kind of like a grayish helmet. And we've seen this helmet many a times over the classified line, probably 8 or 9 times up until this point. But he's got the nice brown straps on there, and there's all the nice detail around that helmet, similar to the other ones there, and with that little chevron on the front there. We've seen many times. I'm going to put that on him and see what that looks like there. Looks pretty good. And then he has an A.W.E helmet, which I believe this was with the ferret, female ferret driver. She had the A.W.E helmet, but this one is done in the same color as his other helmet, Crankcase's other helmet. They added some green detail and a little bitty white, little highlights for some deco on that as well. So that's a pretty cool helmet. So when it's really dusty and it's really sandy and stuff and the storm's out, you can put this one on instead. I wonder if there's a storage compartment for his accessories on in the Ostriker. We'll get to that in a little while. So I'm going to put this. That's it for his accessories. So we'll put that aside, get that out of the way. But I really like these ATV. You know what? I could probably use this for somebody that uses the Ram, maybe Breaker or Duke or somebody else that's using one of those are four-wheelers or Rams. Maybe they could use this. It's a possibility. So I'm going to put this out of the way for the moment over there. And I'm going to put Crankcase over there for the moment. We got all of his accessories out and he's ready to go. So we want to start putting together this Ostriker. Let's see. I got to get a ferret. Yeah, so there's going to be a cool Joe ferret coming out. It's called the Vermin. The Vermint. And it's going to be part of a 2-pack with Snake Eyes and the Stealth Viper with the Trouble Bubble, 788 Trouble Bubble. So there's going to be a 2-vehicle set. That might be the way to use that ATV helmet for other Joes who might want to ride the ferret, because Snake Eyes has a balaclava head with his goggles and stuff like that. So that might be something that they did as a future-proof building of this line, that you could put it on another character, maybe a Lady J or maybe a Scarlet or someone that might want to use that ATV in the future. That's an interesting way to look at it, right? So then we're going to go into the some of this stuff here we have to look at. We have the sticker sheet. First, we have the legal gobbledygook indicia. Stick that back in there. Probably put that back in the box in a little while. Then we have the blueprints, which I need the blueprints to put this together. So I'm very happy we have that. And it looks really nice on the package on that blueprint. It looks really cool. It looks really cool in the blueprint there as well. I hope it looks like that when it's all said and done and put together. So we'll get to that in a minute. And then we have this really cool sticker sheet with all these different jaws and teeth and tongues and eyes and snake eyes and all kinds of really interesting things to make it really cool. So we'll put that back in the bag as well. And we will put that over here on the side, and we'll probably slide it back in the box so I don't lose it. There for now. I'll just leave it there. And so then we have the blueprints. So it says on the blueprints, number 1, the first thing to build on this is the seat. But I'm going to take you guys' suggestion. I'm going to put Crankcase in here first. And then I'm going to build it around Crankcase, and we'll see what it looks like. So we got to get him in here. He also has the butterflied shoulders. He's got the ab crunch. He's got the head rockers. He's got the double pinned elbows, double pinned knees. He's got the foot rock ankle articulation, the secondary ankle articulation there. He's also got the thigh and calf swivel articulation on him as well. He's got the wrist articulation there, and I think that's all the articulation points that he has. And then we'll put him in here. We'll see how he fits. Hopefully he'll fit pretty snug in there without too much stress. See, I moved his feet up so that they would be pointing there, and then oops, the steering wheel came off. All right, so I got that. Now I'll put the steering wheel back on. So the steering wheel comes off. There's a little clip on it there, like that. So it's on there. So there you go. We have Crankcase in the A.W.E. Appreciate you guys recommending that first. So there's a lot of elements to this. Before we start building this out, there's a lot of elements. There's a uh, um, a crank on the front with a crank bar and a big light shield here with all these different lights and some ATV type um, gears on the front that gives it that buoyancy where it can like bounce and stuff like that if you're going over something. um that looks really cool. The detail on those are really cool. There's two of them behind the wheels there that look really nice. And there's a lot of really cool like detail in the tires. There's a lot of give and they're a little squishy there. And there's a green like hubcap on there. So there's a little give in these tires. There's a little give in this with the bounciness of it. So if you're going over some hills and dirt and stuff like that, it won't be flat and it'll be like a kind of a movable type thing. See. What's it going to cost? I'm thinking around $80, probably in the $80 range. Gunpowder Nitro for that Ferret and Trouble Bubble 2-pack when it's solicited or they reveal it and drop it. Yeah, even a small vehicle 2-pack is going to sting a little. Yep. Sheen, man, yep. You're right. What's good, everybody? Hey, Same Time Toys. How are you tonight? Thanks for joining us. Take your time, bro. Don't want no breaks. Yep, you're right about that. Everybody saying hi. So there's it has a tampo right on the front of it that says United States. Then that's that big star because it's a U.S. military vehicle. Um, there's a little bitty tampo on the side here, G.I. Joe in black there, and then on the reverse side there's another tampo. It says MK 325 72653 with the stars and stripes there. And then I'm going to kind of do this kind of a little bit upside down so you guys can see all the detail that's in the computer panel. There's that little all-terrain computer diagnostic there. And there's a little bitty tampo there on the glove box. And there's some computer stuff over there. Behind the wheel, it's all like green and black, so it's hard to see, but it is all like computer scanners and detail and stuff like that. Hopefully you can see it through that. And then in the back, there's lots of tampos and details as well on there with the lights and stars. And we have a warning, insignia, intake cover, danger, hot exhaust. We have latches, all kinds of little dents on the back, warning and protecting you from heat and damage and things like that, so you don't get hurt on there. Can see those tampos there. The tampos there. Now, one of the things about this, I believe this cover is removable. On the vintage one, it was removable. So there, it does come off. So there's nothing underneath it for now. I'm guessing there's going to be an engine or something that's going to go in there at some point. So it snaps back on nicely. And then the back wheels are also, they are larger than the front wheels. So there's two size wheels. So you got the smaller squidgy wheels, then you get the large squidgy wheels in the back. And they also have the green hubcaps on there as well. And then there's the compartment, the standing compartment with some peg hooks on it on both sides of it. See if I can make sure he doesn't fall out. So you can see on both sides there. There you go. So it's a pretty nice, sturdy vehicle. Again, it's very, very large, much bigger than I thought it was going to be. And then it has 84 Type G, uh, two tampos above the stars there. There's two little tampos that say 84 grease, 84 type. So the type of oil I'm guessing that it takes to maintain this. Another really nice element that I like about a lot of the classified vehicles is they give them little movable gear shifts and things like that, and steering wheels move and everything. All the stuff on this has a little crank, like emergency brake that moves up and down and goes over, and this little gear shift moves as well. And there's a little teeny radio here as well, a little radio that is removable and you can stick on here and play with as well, so we can radio the troops and let them know what Cobra's up to. I think there's so much awesome little things in this. You can't really see that radio there, but it's on that console there hanging down, and then you can see those two brake and stick gears for it as well. um, so there's some color deco in the seats. There's a darker green with a leathery brown color for the seats, and they are going to match the other seat that's here. This seat, and this is the spare seat that goes up here on this uh, roll bar situation, I believe, up there, which the vintage one did not have that situation. It did not have this type of a seat in the back. And I can show you the vintage one. Here's the vintage one. They just had the engine. They have the engine back there. Maybe you could like stand back there to shoot this gun, or maybe the gun was more remote control. And then it also had a camera here, and I'm not sure. I haven't gotten to the camera yet, but maybe that'll be in there. So you can tell the difference between these two size-wise is astronomically different. It's like 3 times the size for the A.W.E Striker. So I'm going to put that back down there. And then if you go to the Flame Toys A.W.E Striker, that was more of I guess, a 5-inch vehicle. This is more of a 5-inch vehicle, and you can put it there next to it, and it's still a little bit bigger. This is definitely closer to the vintage design. This one's been stretched out more. You can fit a 5-inch figure in this one, where this is a classified 6-inch figure. So that is the Flame Toys A.W.E Striker, the Arashikage A.W.E Striker. The wheels catch hell, but it's not a truck. It's a buggy. Exactly right, Gunpowder Nitro. That's why I enjoy my 1/8 scale. Not as heavy to hold, but those look awesome. Thanks. Hey, you're very welcome. G.I. Joe 66 Delta 17. Thanks for joining us in the chat. All right, so let's get into some of this stuff that we have here. So we have 2 roll bars. We have this roll bar, and there's some tampos on this as well. It says watch head there and watch there on that. And then there's some lights with some deco. So we're going to let's see. We're going to try to put this on here and see where this is supposed to go. Let me see. Let me look at my blueprints, make sure I do this right. It says the seat goes on first, and then the back roll bar goes in the back like this. So we're going to put the back roll bar on. I just blocked the blueprints. Let's see. So, I guess it goes like this. Like that. There. And then this one goes on here. So let's see. You put the three in the front and then this in the back. So I put this on a little too soon, I guess. So you put that one there, put that one there. That in there, and you put that in there, and then this one and that one go in here, there, there, and there. 1, 2, 3. And then this goes in there. There. And this one goes in here. So. And everything is on there, like that. So there, that's what it looks like, kind of, except it popped out a little bit. So I'm going to have to put a little bit more pressure. I don't want it to break. So I've got to fiddle with this a little bit to get it into these holes. And then this came out as well. There. All right. It kind of almost looks like the remote control Firefox, doesn't it? With that that design and that kind of angle that it's on, it looks like the Firefox a lot. You guys can tell me in the chat if you think it looks like the Firefox or not. Judge 66 out to 17. That sure looks like fun. Oh yeah, it definitely does. My biggest disappointment were the flimsy passenger gun and the top mount gun. Oh, okay. We're gonna get into that in just a little while. 66. 610 Yojo Daddy. Give me a few moments, and we'll get all that in there. One of the interesting things is A.W.E. Crankcase is a little loose in here, and he's not solid against this seat with that. His helmet's hitting on there, so that's a little bit weird. You can tell he's touching that, and he's kind of crunched. So I'm going to have to fiddle around with him, getting him in there. Maybe I shouldn't have put his feet up like that. Maybe I should have made it flat. So I'm going to try that. I'm going to put him back in there, and we're going to do that and see if he sits a little tighter on the seat against that, and hopefully he will. I'll mess around with that a little bit more. And I had him in there earlier, but now I took him out, and so now I'm going to get him back in there. So hold on while I do that. Let's see. All right, so that helped him a lot, get a little bit more maneuverable in there and help him fit in that seat a little bit better that way. And I got his hand on the steering wheel as well. And then I can put this back on here and click those in there. So there, it's a little bit better than it was, but it's not like terrible. All right, so now we're going to put this back up here for a moment, and we're going to get into some of these packages. My roll cage never stays. Hinder Collector, hello. Are you a new person in the chat? If you are, thank you very much for joining us tonight. And if you wouldn't mind, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification. 610 Yojo Daddy, just a heads up, the roll cage barely stays on. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it wants to stay on. I'll see what I can do. Let's see. I used twist ties. It works. Okay, that's pretty cool. Thank you for that. So we have the G.I. Joe Cobra package. See what's in there. We have a gun canister, a weapons canister, ammunition canister, whatever you want to call it, with a little bit of detail, and the gun bullets that we've seen many, many times with different figures, rock and roll, roadblock, and different other characters. So there you go. Got that. Then we have a little bitty storage tool compartment that opens up, and it says toolkit on there with a couple of tampos, a little wrench toolkit, and that opens up. That's pretty cool. I like that. And then we have another weapons cartridge, ammo cartridge. There, ammo again. There. Then we have a water canister, similar to the water canisters that came with the Vamp as well. So we'll put that over there. So that's out of the way. I sub you, and I've been on here before. Good live. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hinder Collector 41. Thank you. I had to kind of sit him forward like that to get him to keep in the steering wheel, which also comes off too easy. Yeah, it came off right when I pulled it out of the box. So this one's going to be a little bit trickier to try and get all the stuff to stay on. It may take a little work, so I don't know if I'll be moving it that much, but all right, so now we're going to go into the weapons crate, and we're going to get the stuff out of there. So we got two packages. We got one, and we have two. There. So we'll put that back down there. I like the weapons crates a lot because you can do a lot with these. So that's fun. So I'm going to just stick that over there, out of my way. There. And all right, so let's see. What do we have in package number one? We have, again, the G.I. Joe Cobra logos on there. We have a big gun. We have a bunch of stuff. We have a big gun, a big Gatling gun, which I think we've seen this big Gatling gun. It was on the fortifications, right? The Cobra fortification. And I think it's probably going to be on the Joe fortification as well. So they redecoed this or they repurposed it for the Oz Striker. And then we have a couple of these antenna tubes here with a little deco there on the bottom there. And then we have this big bazooka gun that he comes with. Very interesting there. A lot of interesting detail on that. And then we have, what else? We have another bazooka gun, or I don't know if that's like a rocket launcher or what that is, but we'll find out sooner rather than later. So that's package number one. And then we have package number two. We have lots of stuff in here. We have, first off, we have a coffee mug. So we got the police officer with a coffee mug, and now we have Crankcase with a coffee mug, and there's little teeny tampo on there that says "Yo Joe." See that? Very fun. So I'm glad that they gave him that. So I'm going to put the coffee mug for the time being in his toolbox so I don't lose it because it is a small piece. So I'm going to stick it in his toolbox there. So I have a little storage compartment to store everything, which I like. I love that. I think that's fun. All right. So then we have, hey, we do have a rifle. Look, we have a little bitty rifle. And it's got a little bitty thing that you can sit it on. You can steer it. That's really nice that they did that. It's a little wibbly. It's a little wibbly, that rifle, and has a lot of it's very soft, and there's a lot of give to it. So we'll put that over there. Then we have some missiles for his bazookas. We got two missiles for the bazooka. Put those over there. Then we have a tennis hat, one of those little tennis visor hats, and it has on it off-road. So he can wear that if he doesn't want to wear any of his other helmets. He can wear that. I'm gonna stick that in his toolkit so I don't lose that little hat. It's in it's got a little gray strap, and it's got some like army drab green on the outside with that white deco. And then he has a little bitty shamak, little bandana, green shamak. I'm gonna put that in his little toolkit as well. There. Fits really nice in there. And then he has binoculars. I might actually put the binoculars on him. I'm not sure. We've seen these binoculars with Snake Eyes and Beachhead and several other people. And then we also have goggles. So we have some really nice see-through goggles with some deco that have a little red deco on there and like a brownish color around them as well that look really nice. We're going to put all these things in here until I pull him out. I'm going to probably leave the goggles out. I'm going to put that on Crankcase, but I'm going to leave the everything else in there. Let's see if this is if I can fit this on him without too much stress here. Yeah, the binoculars can fit on him, and they go around his neck pretty easily. So I put them on there, and that worked out really nice. All right, so I think there's one more thing in here, and it is another shamak, a second shamak thing. So let's see if I can fit that in here too. It might fit, might not. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, everything so far fits. All that stuff's in there. That's really cool. And I think that does it. Those are all of Crankcase's additional accessories. So now we're going to try to put all this equipment on him. Let's see. Jager66 Delta 17 says, how come the rail cage doesn't stay on? Looks good. Looks like it will stay on. Flimsy firearm. Did anyone in the chat get the not Awe Striker? Is that the one from Ramen or the that third party group? I can't think of the name of it. Have one new box. Been watching everyone else's unboxes, so I don't have to open mine. Gunpowder Nitro. Oh, the that third party one. All right. So a lot of this goes on the side of this. So first, we've got to get everything on there. So we're going to put the antennas on first. The antennas go. Says the antennas go someplace Right here, I guess, is the antenna spot. Oops, I lost it. Let's see. Where did that antenna go? Oh, there it is. Right there. All right, so I need to put a little force. Some of these things you have to put a little bit of force on, but I don't want it to break, so that's why I'm worried. Try not to like put too much stress on them. So let's see. Okay. All right, so there's a little bitty doodad there. You have to get it in the right way. So you want to do it like the correct position. All right, so there, we got it in the right position. Now, the second one has to do the same thing. So let's see. So we got to go like there. All right, so I put those antennas on. You can see that there. Then the bazookas, they kind of go up here. I'm having the problem with the roll cage, like you guys were talking about there. And then the bazooka should be here. Let's see. It says, according to the blueprints, the bazooka goes in front of the roll cage, like this. But the problem I'm having with it is it doesn't seem like it fits very good. All right, so there. I think I figured it out. So that goes on there, the roll cage. One bazooka, and then two bazooka, second bazooka, there. See if I got that on there tight enough. Yeah, and this definitely is not staying on this roll bar. Does not want to stay in there. So I'm not sure what we can do to get that to stay on there tight there. Let's see. Let's see, what do we got going on? Everybody's talking in the chat with each other. Evil Dookie, Gunpowder, hello. Everybody saying hi, Evil Dookie. Thanks for joining us tonight in the chat. Hey, K-Mac, thank you for joining us in the chat again tonight. Appreciate it. Hello, everybody. Everybody's saying hi to everybody in the chat. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to try to get on here is the rail gun. So this is the rail gun, I guess, there. And it shows it on here in the front of the A.W.E striker right there. And there's a little doodad on the bottom of it that you attach there. So I'm going to put that there. If I can get it in there. All right. So I have that on there, and so it's movable and it changes position and everything. It goes back and forth, and it can go up and down. So that's good. And then there's a weapons cartridge that you can put on the deck of the standing part here, there's a little plug that you can plug that in there, and you can put this in there. I believe that's that, like that. So we're going to try to plug that in there, and then we're going to get the ammo to go through the gun. There's a little slot in the gun. There. Like that. There, like that. It goes in the gun like that. There's a little slot, and then the cartridge, the weapons ammo cartridge canister goes on the deck plate. There's a little hole in the bottom of it that you can slide it in. So that goes there. And then there's another weapons, the storage compartment, the one with the toolkit, can go here on the other side. There's a little doodad in the bottom of it, similar to the weapons cartridges. There's a little hole in the bottom to illustrate where that goes there. So we can put all of his gear in it. And then the water canister, it shows it goes on the other one on the other side. And it has a little hole in the bottom of it as well. So you put the water canister there. So you can hold different supplies on the sides of these little standing deck plates. There you can see the water canister in that toolkit there, and then you can see the weapons canister there with it there. So then let's see next. So we got a lot of the back stuff on. So now we're going to try to put the railgun on here. So the large railgun, I mean. So then the large railgun goes in the middle of the cage there, like that. But when you put pressure on it, it is very difficult for it to hold its position. So it came out. So I've got to put it back in the roll cage, as you guys are illustrating to me. Came back out. There. So I have the roll cage on, and I have the rail gun on. Now I have to put the weapons cartridge on here. Like the other ones, this has a little doodad in the bottom of it that can plug into the little doodads on the cage, the roll cage. They're next to the weapons cartridge. And then the ammunition can go inside the gun, the rail gun. I believe it's right there. Yeah, right there. So let's try to get that in there without too much stress. That didn't stay on there very well. So I have to try to put a little bit more pressure on it to get it to stay on. None of these cages stay on very well. Let's see. All right. Oh boy, none of these things want to stay on the roll cage, and none of the roll cages want to stay in their spots. So that is not a good sign for me. Everything that's supposed to be on this roll cage, maybe I should have put that stuff on first and then tried to get them to go into their spots. I'm not sure. Trying not to break this. I'm trying to keep everything on. But definitely problems with the roll cages. There's no doubt in my mind about that. You guys are right. All right, so then we have the two missiles. So we're going to put them in the little bazookas. One and two. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this back roll cage off, and I'm just going to leave it the way it is without it, because I can keep the regular roll cage on, but the back roll cage does not want to stay. And that way, whoever's back there is just going to have to get a little bit of dirt on there, because that back roll cage does not want to stay on there. And then there's blueprint for all the stickers and stuff. So if I wanted to use the stickers, I could. Let's see. New York Knights, good morning. Hello. Thanks for joining us. Gunpowder Nitro. Dave, gonna bust a blood vessel. No, I'll be all right. Everybody saying hello to everybody in the chat. Evil Dookie. Let's see. I'm always down for a little belt-fed machine gun action. Yeah, that's really cool. You're right. Everybody's saying hello. Everybody in the chat. Yeah. So this back one does not stay on very well. I don't like it. So I'm gonna take it off, and I'm gonna just leave it the way it is with that one off, and we'll just have to play it by ear, I guess. Let's see. There. So that's all right. But everything else seems to be staying on at this point without too much fuss. Just a little bit of stress on some of these little things, trying to get them to stay in their little peg hooks. I almost wish that there was a little bit more secure. You might have to like super glue it on some of these little peg hooks just to get it to stay on there properly. But I have everything on there except for that back roll cage, which doesn't seem to want to stay. And my other back of this roll cage doesn't seem to want to stay either, which I don't know why they didn't make it where it could snap in. I guess they thought maybe people would want to take that off or something like that. I don't know. But there's definitely some problems with this. It doesn't work as well as it's supposed to. But it is big. It's very big. And so this goes out as well there with a little crank. So then you can just crank it back up if you have to. There's a little crank there to crank it back up, which is cool. There. I think the wheels are all right. I know people had a problem with it, but they're definitely different sizes. So I'm all right with that. As long as they were different sizes, because the vintage one, they were the same size. The vintage one wheels, they're all the same size. They didn't have different sizes. See, they're the same. So this one has two different size wheels. It's fine, I think. My only problem is getting these things to stay on their doodads so they can be played with properly, and making sure that the cage stays where it's supposed to. So I may end up getting some super glue for this just to keep it on properly, because I don't like things to be flopping around and loose like that. Um, that's not my style. I don't like things to be flopping around. I like it to be tight. Um, so then there's also this back compartment. I guess they didn't give it an engine. So I thought maybe we were going to get an engine in here, but we didn't get an engine. The original A.W.E had an engine cover. Um, let's see. Let's see. Can't seem to get it off. I'm wondering if the gun can go back there as well. So it's a modular type thing where you can play with it a little bit and have the gun in two different places. I had this off earlier. Now I can't get it off. Well, I won't worry about it right now, but the engine cover to the back comes off, and there's another little doodad on the back of it where you could probably put the gun and have someone like standing back here, because there's a lot of standing room on this back bumper, so you can have the gun there, and you could put a different roll cage there and have them using it from this angle, which is different than the way that I have it right there. I have it on top. Um, and the original one, the original A.W.E, the engine cover came off, and there was an engine back there. You can see that engine. Where this one, they're kind of mimicking the engine with some of the stuff that's on there, but it's not quite the same. I don't think. I don't think it's quite the same. To like see, you can see that like exhaust there. You can see that little cap there that goes on top of part of it. There's some detail in there as well to make it look like it's kind of like an engine, but it's not the same. I wish I could open again to show you guys. Can't. So maybe some of his accessories and stuff there. I think I got it. Yeah, I think I got it off. So it comes off, and then there's like storage back there, I guess. So I'll put that back on there since I was able to show it to you guys. There, and it snaps back on. No problems. So there's your crankcase and your Austin. Overall, I would say it's pretty cool. I just have some problems with some of these parts staying on the way that they're supposed to, and giving us the value that we're supposed to have with it, because it kind of takes away from the reality of it all when the toys don't do what they're supposed to do. That's why I was so disappointed. It could have been so much better. Looks great, except for the gun and Top Gun. Yeah, you're right about that. And Will R, good. Hello, thanks for joining us. Yo, Joe Daddy. Yep. Agree, New York Knights. I replaced that front gun with an extra M. Extra M. New York Knights. I replaced that passenger side gun with an extra MG I had from Big Ben. Ah, okay. 610. What's not to like about a M60 and M2? Interesting. I'm not sure. So we didn't look at the bottom of this. Let's see what's on the bottom. See if there's a lot of detail on the bottom. No, not a lot of detail. Just kind of like rivets and things like that. So I'm going to play around with it a little bit and see what I can do with it. All right, so I'm going to put this out of the way, put it over here, put that out of the way over there. I'm going to put this back here a little bit, and then I'm going to put his little helmet over here. So there's some really fun storage elements with this. So I'm very happy. Overall, I'm happy with it. There's a lot of peg hooks. There's a lot of gridding on the sides and gridding on the top for the standing positions. There's a lot of really nice detail. There's some weathering with some of the tampos. I like all the plastic rubbery like gripping material that looks really nice. I think there's a lot to this that is really cool. It's just little things that take you out of um, that play pattern, that imagination, and it kind of ruins it for you, right? Um, Gunpowder. In my opinion, the guns are made poorly, and the OG roof gun looked better. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think the OG gun roof one. I don't have it on this one, but I do think it looks better. Still a great vehicle. Yeah, overall it is. I wouldn't say it was terrible. It's just those couple of little things would make it like super stand out because I love the Awe Striker. It's one of my all-time favorite vehicles. Holds it in place better. Um, yeah, you're right. You're definitely right about the guns holding in place better. So let's see. We're gonna go over a couple of things first that I got in. I'm waiting for my other three, but I figured I'd showcase these since they came in a couple of days ago, and that is my 186 Lifeline came in. Um, Looks perfect. Artwork on the side is perfect. The Shooting the Galaxy artwork is perfect. He's in the middle of an emergency situation. He's running to the rescue to save some Joes or something like that. A couple of call outs. Um, and there's his loadout with a lot of the gear and everything. That was one of the things I was worried about with some of the gear was some of the deco. I was hoping that they would do a little bit more with the decos on some of these. And based on what in the package and everything, it does look like they did add some little details in the deco for him. But he's been what I've been waiting for a while. Let's see, and then we got Night Viper, and Night Viper is another one of my all-time favorite troop builders. I've been waiting for him in the line. 187 looks totally awesome. Um, How's your crankcase? Mine had QC issues with his waist. Well, let's see. He has a weird ab crunch here in the waist that makes him like bend a little bit more. I think that's for the seating. But overall, he was pretty good. I didn't see any quality issues with it. New York Knights. But I haven't looked super close at it. He put he put him inside already, and he ain't coming out. No, he ain't coming out. That's correct. Um, so like I said, we have the Night Viper, who is one of my all-time favorite troop builders. I've been waiting for him. 187. Then we have the Shooting the Galaxy photography with a couple of call-outs. Looks really nice on that rooftop at nighttime with all the lights and the building environment and the city environment behind it. Looks awesome. And then the loadout. Look at that gun. Look at that huge gun. I didn't realize that gun was that big. I like the upgrades to this figure. I think he looks really nice. I like the green is a little bit deeper of a green, whereas the vintage one's a little bit more turquoise. This one's more green. So I think it really pops a lot. And I can't wait to get into these. And these are like 86 and 87. And we just did 171. So we get about 25 more videos, and we'll be getting into him hopefully this year sometime, but we'll have to wait. And we're doing all these in order, so we'll have to wait on that. Let's see. Hot glue, David, so you can still remove it when you need to. Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. My crankcase was good. No flops. New York Knights. Mine has a weird separation. Yeah, in the waist, there's an extra little waist crunch there that I think might be because he's a character that sits in a seat. Um, Will R. Yeah, mine had the large waist gap also. Yeah, so I don't know if that's something bad. It may just be an extra thing to give it that more flexibility so we can sit down in the seat. But I don't know. I've never heard anybody say anything about that before. But you never know. It could be a problem for other people where it might be sticky or might not be flexible enough. I'm not sure. But mine seemed to be all right from what I can tell. Um, yeah, it gives it that additional like crunch. Yeah, yours could be an early production issue. I've noticed that when people have had early versions of it, some people have had production versions that have been bad, like not overkill. The Iron Grenadier, Destro's Iron Grenadier, um, Dark Lawn. People had quality issues with him. And then I saw there were some quality issues with Crystal Ball as well, where the earlier versions of them had some joint issues that were tight and people snapped the arms or snapped the legs on like Dark Lawns and Crystal Balls. So it could definitely be factory issues. So take your time with it, take it easy, like you guys always tell me in the chat to take it easy because you don't want to snap stuff, so you got to do it slowly and go through all the joints one at a time and move them and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if that's a case with that for you, but it might be. I'm not sure. So let's see. We have some news bits that I wanted to cover real quick. The other day I was covering the classified vintage, or I should say the legacy police officer, and I wanted to show you guys the police officer, the DeSimone police officer. And I got some pictures from my friend because I didn't have it, and I wanted to show it to you guys from my pictures that I have. No, let's see. So you guys can see what it looks like. I think you're going to be very happy with these. So there's three pictures. So here's one. Let's see. See if you guys can see that picture. There's the DeSimone O-ring 3 3/4 police officer there. He's on looks like a military base, and there's a little bit of a shadow there. So that's the police officer there. Then there's him at a guard post, the Checkpoint Alpha police officer there. And then one more with his helmet off at Checkpoint Alpha as well. So he had the same helmet as like Starduster and a lot of the Joes back in the first couple years. But he was dark blue. He had a lot of tampos, police tampos and stuff like that. He had the removable helmet visor. He had some weapons and stuff like that. And I thought it was a really cool figure. I just never had the opportunity to find one at a decent price because it goes for a lot of money. The DeSimone O-ring 3 3/4 club. It's one of the earliest club figures that ever was released. So it's one of the highest valued vintage figures you can find, if you can find it. I don't have it in my collection because it's a club exclusive. I'm not that big of a stickler on having it in my collection. I do want to get it someday. Just like they also did the pilot and the Joe Colton infantry as well in the club during the 90s as well. So it just depends on what your collecting patterns are and how you want to get things. I thought you guys might want to look at that since we looked at the police officer, the legacy police officer. So I got a little bit of news on the Atomic Arcade situation, Snake Eyes video game. It was a branch of the Wizards of the Coast portion of Hasbro. They were doing as a video game division. The Atomic Arcades. They were making a triple A Snake Eyes game, and one of the people that was working on that game, Brandon Jerwa, is very familiar to the GI Joe brand and the GI Joe community. He wrote comics for Devil's Due and IDW, and he's done some other stuff too in the brand for the community as well. I did an interview with him like 3 years ago or so before he started working at Atomic Arcade on that Snake Eyes game. He gave me a little bit of a sneak peek that he was going to be doing that, and so I tried to get a new interview with him, and I did talk with him, but he said that he couldn't mention anything to do with Atomic Arcade and the situation that was going on currently with them, and their letting go of a lot of that division. And there's more information about that has been revealed, that the game is still in play. They are still trying to figure out what to do with it, whether they're going to pass it on to another company to finish it or what. And there's still people that still work there at Atomic Arcade. They didn't get rid of everybody, but they did get rid of a big chunk of people. So they're still working on the game, and they're still trying to find a place to release the game. So it's not the end of the Snake Eyes Triple A game yet. So that's a little bit of Atomic Arcade news I thought you guys might be interested in. And then some of the figure releases that we haven't seen their release dates for. The Zanya and the Swamp Skier, I believe, is going to be in May. The Night Creeper with Dire Technology, Walmart exclusive, is going to be released in March during their Walmart fan event that they do 3 times a year. Geek Out, I think it's called Geek Out. No, that's Target. Walmart's is something else. I can't remember exactly the name of it. So that one's in March, and it looks like the Trouble Bubble, 788 Trouble Bubble, Stealth Viper, Snake Eyes, and the Varmint will be sometime around New York Comic Con. No, San Diego Comic Con. Sorry. Comic Con showed and released there. And then the 2-pack of Taurus and Red Dog, it looks like it's going to be sometime in May as well. And then the who else am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the 4 that we did not get release pre-orders for. So those 4 are probably in those time frames to be released, to get pre-ordered. Let's see. Could you use a heat gun and make the cage fit better? Yeah, I'm going to look at it when I have a little bit more time to play with it, to see if I can tighten it on there. And because in order to put these antennas, you had to have it sitting the right way for it to go in there. So I'm wondering if that's the case with some of these roll cages as well. So I'm going to play around with it, and we'll see what we can do with it. I just don't know. One of my little came off on this side. See if I can get that on there. There, that's in now. But yeah, they don't stay on there very well. Let's see. So that is all the releases for all those items that will be coming in the next few months. We'll probably get notification from Hasbro Pulse and Hasbro on those, but those are the time frames that I believe that they'll all be releasing or pre-ordering. And then we got some mask news for the comics. So we've been building for the last, I'd say, year. That they revealed last year during Free Comic Book Day, or I think they changed the name of it to comics giveaway day or something like that. And so, because that title was copyrighted by Diamond, I guess. So nobody else owns it, so they had to change the name to Comics Giveaway Day. So there's last year they did the Energon Universe free issue, and they're gonna do another one this year, and they have probably a mask story. They've been building the mask story up, and they'll probably have a culmination in that issue, and then it'll lead into May with or June with Mask One from Skybound, part of the Energon universe. So now we'll have G.I. Joe, Transformers, Void Rivals, and Mask. So we'll have 4 books. They've built it slowly over the years, over the last couple of years that they've been doing this. And I really like Mask. I think it's a great property. I'm very happy that they've included it in Energon. And I'm hoping that we will get maybe Visionaries, since they mentioned Prismos in one of the previous issues of Void Rivals. They mentioned Prismos, which is the home world of Visionaries. And I'm thinking that the gateway that keeps the Void Rival characters separated, Celia and Jarek's people on both sides, maybe when they clear that portal, maybe we'll see other entities, other creatures, other properties on the other side of the portal. Maybe characters like Rom, maybe characters like the Dire Wraiths, maybe Prismos is on the other side of that portal, and that's where we're going to get the Visionaries. So I'm hoping they continue to build this line and they do new titles, maybe one a year, and they build it slowly like they've been doing with Mask. They didn't do Mask right away. They built it over an entire year, and then they launched it with Mask number 1. Let's see. Gunpowder Nitro. Maybe a blow dryer would be better. Heat gun might melt it. Yeah, that's true. You're right about that. Gunpowder Nitro. Clint Jorgensen. Mask is a great midpoint between G.I. Joe and Transformers. Yes, it is. It's the perfect meld of those two properties. And the fact that they had spoilers here, a little bit of spoilers. Miles Mayhem working for the Decepticons and the military and the evil forces of the military, and with the Decepticons. And then Matt Tracker kind of being on the outs of the military and kind of working with the Autobots a little bit. Now we're going to see that he's going to probably be coming back, because in the last issue, they mentioned Matt Tracker. Hey, let's see if we can get that Matt Tracker. Maybe we need to rethink that position on Matt Tracker. So they're going to bring Matt into the fold, and then we're going to see some other characters, and then there's little cameos of other characters in there as well, with that big orange truck and stuff like that. So there's some interesting things with Mask, and I look forward to it. I've been rereading the Revolution crossover because I wanted to get myself ready for how they were going to do this whole Mask thing with Skybound. So I've been rereading the whole Revolution crossover from IDW, and I'm curious if it all kind of connects. Maybe is Skybound in the IDW universe and not Larry Hama's universe? How does it all work? It's interesting. Well put, Clint. Yep, I like that name, Clint, by the way. That's a cool name. Clint Eastwood. Clint Jorgensen is cool. So what do you guys think about Mask? You want to see more Mask stuff? Do you think Classified will use Mask in the Classified line? Do you think we will get another Matt Tracker, an African Matt Tracker in Classified? The fact that they're going into all these weird directions with dinosaurs, dire technology, and stuff like that, and all the energon elements, and the cool stuff with the mole rats and things like that. Could we be getting some creepy crawlies? And maybe Mask would fit into that too, to try and broaden the Classified line. And because he was released twice in Hasbro toy branded releases prior. The 25th anniversary had a Matt Tracker as part of that. And then the Revolution box set that I've showed several times in video also Matt Tracker, but he was the A.W.E version that was an African American Matt Tracker. So I don't think it's beyond the possibility that we can get a third GI Joe Matt Tracker figure and possibly Miles Mayhem as well in the classified line. It's just I think it makes sense. It's just a matter of time. We have to wait and see. Get any other line, it will be that uh, Beast King Voltron. Oh, okay. Gunpowder Nitro. That's fine. Everybody collects the way that they collect. It's fine. But I do think it would be really cool to get figures. We may not get vehicles in classified for Mask, but I think it would be really cool to get the figures. And I was very disappointed when that Revolution box set came out that we got a second Matt Tracker. I thought maybe we would have gotten the main villain of that because it was Miles Mayhem, and we already had a Matt Tracker. So I thought the perfect opportunity to get another Mask character, Miles Mayhem, because it also, that box set included ROM, it included the Micronauts, it included Jetfire, it included a Dire Wraith, it included Leoric from Visionaries. So I think if they go that route, I know that Visionaries and Micronauts are being done through Super 7 now with their Reaction Plus line of G.I. Joes. And Cops is being done through Big Bad Toy Stores toy department. They're making Cops. And Loyal Subjects is doing Mask and Gem. Nobody's doing it in humanoids at the moment, but I would not be shocked if someone else picked up the brand for Inhumanoids. And so GI Joe is doing obviously GI Joe, or Hasbro's doing GI Joe and Transformers, but we haven't seen anything else yet. Um, Looking forward to Mask in the Energon universe. Not sure I want it in classified because I'm a completionist and don't want too much outside stuff. Just Miles Mayhem and Matt Tracker would be cool. Yeah, I think that those two are the main ones, and I'm very upset that we never got a Matt Tracker or a Miles Mayhem in O-ring or 4-inch. I think I hope somebody can do that someday. I think they should have did Miles Mayhem in the club. If they didn't do it in the Revolution, they should have squeezed him into the club, so we would have both a good guy and a bad guy for Mask. But it's too late now. Not much we can do about that. Maybe one of the other custom companies that are doing stuff like that can make a military suited character similar to the Hooded Cobra Commander, and they could put a head that could be just like some major colonel or whatever, and you can just put the head on that military guy's body, and you would have Miles Mayhem that way without calling it Miles Mayhem, similar to what they've been doing with Hooded Cobra Commander and some other stuff too. So there's ways to get around this stuff and still get what we want. The Cops line is definitely 6-inch scale through a Big Bad Toy Stores toy shop. So that's going to be cool. When that comes in, I believe it's been shipped, so I should be getting it soon. So I really look forward to getting all the Cops through them. There's been leaks of several other Bad Brain and Long Arm for them. So there's a couple more Cops that could be possibly coming in the future through Big Bad Toy Store toy department or whatever it's called. But I love all that stuff. I'm an 80s guy, and I would love to get everything in one scale. There's a guy that does a lot of customs, and he's got like every single thing in 4-inch scale, and I just love all that stuff. I wish he was able to mass produce a lot of that stuff in 4-inch scale, so you would have everything in one scale. But it's tricky. It's very tricky. 610 Yojo Daddy. Did you pre-order a Arctic Hiss? I did. I got two. I broke my order into separate orders. I ordered one at the beginning of December, and I ordered one at the end of December, beginning of January. So I'm hoping they ship separately, so they come out of my bank account in separate shipments, like 213 at a time instead of like 450 at a time, because I don't think I could do that. I have a hard enough time trying to keep up with HasLabs that are like three something when I have to do that. But I'm sure everybody in the chat has gotten their Arctic Hiss pre-ordered, right, guys? Because it's a beautiful deco, I've got to say. I think the Arctic Assault Hiss is one of the most beautiful decos of a Hiss tank that we've ever gotten in any G.I. Joe brand. It's one of my favorites. It's right up there with my favorite, which is the septic tank. It's probably my second favorite version of the Hiss is the Arctic Assault. I like the septic tank better. So let's see what else we have. The Senflow Joe Show coming up in April, April 19th in Central Florida, Deltona, the center at Deltona. Primary guest is Mark Pennington, who is designer of the G.I. Joe vintage line in the 80s from 87 to 89. He will be there. He worked at CrossGen Comics, and he's a designer and in his own right, and also does art exhibits. And he'll do sketches and stuff for you guys at the convention if you want to get something drawn of your favorite character. I feel like Chris Latta is the anchor, being in a lot of those universe. Yeah, he is. He did a lot of voice work in most of those series. That is true, Bobby World. There's no doubt about it on that. I agree with you. Then we have Adam Riches, comic book artist and package designer for Hasbro. He did Sergeant Slaughter package design, and he worked at Super 7. He did the Huntsman with Snake Eyes, with the glow in the dark hands and the mask element and stuff like that. Huntsman playset. That package was done by Adam Riches. Then we're going to have Strike Force Alpha toy designer and creator Matt LaCroix, who's going to be who has done a lot of painting for a lot of company, and he did the Fumbles figure at Joe Fest last year, and he's going to have an exclusive one-of-a-kind figure only at the Senflow Joe Show that will be released at our show. First come, first serve on that, because it will not be unlimited. It'll be a limited thing that you can buy, and it is a martial arts character from the 70s. And that's all I can say right there until we release the information on that, to give you guys a little bit of information on that. Lenny Honda, yo, Joe, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us tonight. Then we also have Jason Mark Sobel, comic book artist, and he also does sketches and commissions at the shows. And we have Roger Taff, author of After Action Report. He's done 7 or 8 books about G.I. Joe comics and toys and all kinds of different interesting stuff about the history of the G.I. Joe brand. And we have Hawk Saunders, the editor-in-chief of the Rising Sun comics publisher, will also be there with comics and new comics and stuff like that you can purchase. And the Joe Fest will have a booth. I will have a booth as well. We will also have the finest G.I. Joe costuming organization, and they will be there. So if you want to dress up in your finest G.I. Joe costumes, you can join them in some photos and hang out with them. So we're trying to cover every aspect of the G.I. Joe community and give you guys tons of activities and tons of stuff to do, along with buying vintage toys, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Thundercats, Silverhawks, Masters of the Universe, Mask, all vintage toy lines that you will be able to get at the show. Star Wars as well, and hopefully help your collections and get good deals at the show. And just talk to cool people, a lot of cool G.I. Joe community members that are going to be hanging out at the show. A lot of people that you probably never get to meet before, you'll have a chance. Plus, It's during spring break. It'll be in April, the 19th. And you can come to Florida, come on vacation, bring your family, bring your loved ones. Go to Disney, go to Epic Lands, Universal, go to the beach all over us. We have beaches in Central Florida, and then there's also Cape Canaveral. So maybe there'll be a SpaceX launch or something like that you can go, which is really cool to see a launch from here. You can actually see it from where I live. You can see the launch very, very close. So there's going to be tons of activities and things to do at in Central Florida during that time frame. So I hope you all can make it if you live in the southern Alabama area, southern Georgia area, and anywhere in Florida, and you want to come for a G.I. Joe experience. This is the opportunity. And I look forward to having all of you guys join me at the show. I said that we're going to have a whole run of serious, really awesome banger episodes coming up. And the next one is no difference in that. We did the Gyre Viper with the all his creatures, and then we have now the A.W.E Striker with Crankcase, and the next one is a brand new character for a faction that they've been building for the last couple years. One of the awesomest figures, and there's only been one ever official Hasbro release of this character prior to this. So this is the second release of this character. This character has never been released prior to this, other than in a 4-inch scale through the club, the FSS club. So that should give you enough clues to figure out what this next character is. And I'm not going to tell you any more than that. So that's our next video. That'll be tomorrow morning, probably between 9:30 and 11 is usually when I go for those videos. And I think that is going to cover us for this video. We've had a long video, and we've covered a lot of information. So I want to say thank you guys very much. I appreciate you guys joining me in the chat. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and all the folks after the fact on the replay crew, I really appreciate you guys joining me there. All those things help out with the algorithms. If you share these videos, that's the number one thing you can do to help this channel grow. We're very close to getting to that 250 mark, and we're very close to getting to the 300 episode mark. So we'll be doing a couple of special episodes. We may be getting some of the guys from the chat in those videos to join us to talk about some fun stuff. We want to get some top 10 lists that we haven't done yet. We've already done the top 10 vehicles, our favorite top 10 vehicles, our top 10 G.I. Joes and Cobras. And now we want to do maybe the top 10 craziest things that G.I. Joe has done in the history of G.I. Joe. That's probably going to be our favorite video, because there's so much awesome stuff that they've done over the years. So that might be one of our top 10s that we do in the one of those anniversary episodes. Thank you very much. Hey, Ultramensch, good evening. Thanks for joining us. We're just about to end this, Ultramensch, so I'm sad to say that you joined us at the very end. And I was just about to say, this is a big Yo Joe video, so Yo Joe! Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. We'll see you guys in the next one.